Hey everyone, welcome to the weekly update, the first official episode. You got a preview of it last week, but this is the first actual episode of the year. If you missed that and you're not quite sure what the weekly update is, it's a new show here on the channel for 2021 that focuses on delivering you World of Warcraft news and World of Tsetzuko news every week, all in one place, and a nice condensed edited video for you. Now, it's called the Weekly Update right now. I'm still looking for interesting names. Some of you submitted some name ideas on the previous video. I haven't, just ignored those. They're swirling around in my head, but I haven't made a firm decision on anything yet. So if you have an idea for what this show could be titled, feel free to slap that in the comment section below. All right, before we get started with this week's news, I wanted to say, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button for more great World of Warcraft coverage here on the channel. So we're going to kick things off with our World of Warcraft news. All right, a couple of brief mentions. First off, at this point, if you have been keeping up with your Covenant campaign, you will now have access, once you complete Chapter 8, which is out this week, to your full Covenant campaign transmog set. So at this point, if you've looked at one of those sweet transmog armor sets and you've had your eye on it, the full campaign chapters are out and you can now access that full armor by completing those chapters, which is pretty sweet. We got our first full-on, transmog set for Shadowlands, unless you've really been going hard into Castle Nathria in the raid there and working on that armor set. But I think it's a little more likely that you'll get this Covenant campaign one as your first full set. Next up, this week's world boss is Mortanis, available in the Maldraxxus zone. This boss obviously can drop gear, but also drops legendary memories for Windwalker Monk, Outlaw Rogue, and Fury Warrior. Now remember, the memories for your legendaries here are a piece of what you need in order to actually craft the legendary, and these three memories are available to drop from Mortanis. Not necessarily guaranteed, but a chance to drop. So make sure you get out there and you hit that world boss this week and take your shot at those. Those are all classes and specializations I'm pretty interested in, so I think I need to get out there and get those as well. Next up, Blizzard has made a hotfix that will now push important weekly quests from the normal positions in your quest log up into the section that has your campaign quest. So this is just helping to distinguish your weekly quest for your Covenant Sanctum by putting them in this more prominent place. Nice quality of life addition, and kind of helps make sure that you're paying attention to and tracking your weekly quest for your Covenant. In other news, there's a new World of Warcraft book coming in October of 2021 called Exploring Azeroth Kalimdor. You could pre-order this book on Amazon. It's $25, and the current scheduled release date is October 15th, 2021. And this is a art and lore book, which is going to explore the continent of Kalimdor. We don't have all of the details about this, but it does kind of have a Horde vibe based on the red coloring on the cover. And I imagine that kind of makes sense. It is a predominantly Horde continent, and I imagine when we get the Exploring Azeroth Eastern Kingdoms book, it'll probably have blue on the cover because that's a predominantly Alliance continent as well. So we'll see what comes with this book. I'm interested to see what this is all about. I think this might be an interesting book to cover here on the channel, but it is still a ways off, way later this year. So if you're interested in it, go ahead and get your pre-orders ready. If not, keep it in the back of your mind for later on this year. And of course, we're going to end off the WoW news talking about Torghast. So first off, Skoldus Hall and Mortregar are the wings available in Torghast this week, and there are several legendary memories that can drop from each of the Torghast wings. I'm going to list them here, but I'm not going to go into detail about what all of them do. But we have in Skoldus Hall, we have memories available for the Frost Death Knight, Vengeance Demon Hunter, Balance Druid, Beast Mastery Hunter, Arcane Mage, Mistweaver Monk, Subtlety Rogue, Restoration Shaman, Affliction Warlock, and Arms Warrior. So if you're on one of those classes or specializations, be sure to check out. There's a post on Wowhead that covers what those memories are that you can get, and those are available from Skoldus Hall. Now, Mortrigar has memories available for the Blood Death Knight, Guardian Druid, Survival Hunter, Frost Mage, Brewmaster Monk, Protection Paladin, Discipline Priest, Assassination Rogue, Enhancement Shaman, and Fury Warrior. So once again, you can hit up that post on Wowhead. I'll put a link to it in the description below, and you can check out which memories are available for your spec and decide if you want to maybe do a little bit of extra running in those particular wings of Torghast this week. That's not the most exciting news for Torghast, though, however, because this week is the unlocking of the Twisting Corridors. Now, huge caveat here. If you have not been progressing your Torghast quest on a weekly basis, as of the making of this video, there is no catch-up mechanic. You have to just keep plowing through your weekly Torghast quests. I have not been keeping up with them, so I have to plow through those, so I don't get access to Twisting Corridors yet, but I'm sure many of you will. If you're not familiar, Twisting Corridors is essentially the endless or hard mode version of Torghast. There are going to be 8 layers available in the Twisting Corridors, but unlike the non-Twisting Corridors version of Torghast, each layer in Twisting Corridors is actually 18 floors. And if you complete all 8 layers of all 18 floors per layer, then you can get a Maw mount. So there's actually a pretty interesting reward that you can get here. It looks just like the little Maw beasts, the kind of like dog-looking creatures that are out in the Maw and in Torghast. So this is going to be pretty exciting. This is actually like what I'm hitting up for like my main form of content when it comes to Shadowlands. I'm excited to get everything up to max level and get into Twisting Corridors and really start pushing this. To clear the entire Twisting Corridors, you need to go through 144 floors. And my goal for Shadowlands is to do that on every specialization in the game, which is a little nuts, but we'll see how it goes. It's nice to have something that I actively am excited about and want to do as my progression. So this is going to be a pretty exciting thing for a lot of people, I know. And there are also a lot of rewards that you can look forward to. Some of the ones we know about, there is a Death Seeker pet. There's a Helm of the Dominated toy. You can get a title of Spire Stalker, and you can get the Corridor Creeper mount that you can use in the Maw. So lots of stuff going on here. I am super excited about this. I can't even explain it. I got to jump on those weekly Torghast quests so that I can get in here and just start grinding away on this as soon as possible. So that's going to do it for the World of Warcraft news. Let's move along to the community portion of the video here. We're going to take a look at some of the comments from the channel over this past week. Don't forget that if you leave comments on my videos, every week I'm going to be going back through those and addressing some of those here on the weekly updates. So if you want a chance for your comment to be read and addressed here on the video, make sure you leave some comments. All right, our first comment here is going to be a pretty long one from Michelle Crummel. She says, I found your channel by searching for Vengeance Demon Hunter guides. Your beginner advanced guides were hands down the best and the most helpful of all I've found. This is my first time tanking, so I appreciated how well you explained and demonstrated everything. So many guides are geared towards experienced players and Mythic Plus and rating that the advice isn't helpful or understandable for newer, more casual players like myself. Most guides leave me with more questions and confusion than anything else. Yours are very practical and easy to follow, so thank you. What I need to learn now is how to mark targets, how to choose priority in the Shadowlands dungeons, normal and heroic, and how to tell which target I've lost threat on in a large pull. So more of a tanking how-to versus a specific class guide, although I love an updated Demon Hunter guide with the Kyrian Covenant. I imagine the use of the Elysian Decree changes the recommended talent and rotation choices. I'm experimenting on my own right now. So there's a lot to unpack in this comment. First off, thank you for such a great comment and letting me know what you found useful and helpful here on the channel. I definitely really appreciate that, and I'm happy that I could help you out. So talking about some of these beginner advanced guides and talking about making stuff that's helpful and understandable to newer and more casual players. This week on the channel, I debuted WoW Academy Live, the new format for my live streams, where each week I come with a topic and we discuss it and talk about it and dive deep into it. And then we follow it up with gameplay to kind of demonstrate the things that we've learned. So I'm really hoping that WoW Academy Live is going to be something that takes these things that you and many other viewers here on the channel really like about my channel and expands it out and turns it into something more consistent and helpful and interactive. So I'm really excited about that, and I hope you are as well. Now, as far as choosing priority in dungeons go, that really comes down to the specific dungeons and the enemies that are in there. And that's definitely a topic that can be addressed through WoW Academy Live. It doesn't have to be a class guide or a spec guide. It could be a dungeon guide one day. Hey guys, we're going to sit down, we're going to walk through the dungeon, talk about the enemies and stuff, and then we're going to go run that dungeon and showcase everything. So that's something that we could do there as well. And as far as updated guides with Covenant specific abilities and stuff, that is going to be slightly difficult because since I've chosen Covenants on my classes, I could switch to make the guide, but then I would have to switch back. So I don't know if I'll be able to show like actual examples of using the Covenant abilities. I may just have to give more of a verbal guide in those situations, but I definitely have Covenant abilities on my mind, and I know there's something that people really are interested in and want more information about. Our next comment is from Guidox 444. Not sure if I said that right, but they say, thank you for this video. I've used weak auras for a long time and always wanted to make my own, but every video I watched was way over my head, or was over my head. You explained it so plain and easy. Thanks again. That's good to hear. That's why I made this guide. I know there are plenty of other weak auras guides out there, but I felt like a lot of them either touched the surface or they dove a little too deep too quick. So I wanted to make something that's more like wading into the shallow end of the pool. And I'm definitely going to be coming up with the sequel for the weak auras guide here in the very near future. It's going to be one of the premium edited guides that are coming up here on the channel. And just to reiterate, when I say premium, there's no like money involved. I just mean it's a higher caliber of guide compared to like the WoW Academy Live stuff that I do. So that's definitely going to be coming on the way, and a whole series in that line for weak auras guides. I have a lot of fun making weak auras, and I want to make sure that I can kind of do my best to impart that information and those tools to you so you can make your own as well. Our next comment is from Beth Rizoth. I absolutely love your guides. They are by far the best I've ever seen. My daughter and I use the guides for BFA for any character we created. Something you said before Shadowlands made me think you wouldn't be doing these, and I'm super excited to see you doing them again. Please keep them coming. I hope you know how great this is for folks like me. Now, I want you guys to know I'm not highlighting these just to toot my own horn. I am like really grateful for these kind of comments, and I always love it when someone, tells me like their daughter or their son or their family also watches and gets use out of my guides. That's like just one of the most awesome things to me, to know that like my guides help like the next generation of WoW players. It's really cool. But yes, before Shadowlands, I really was not enjoying BFA at all. There's just a lot to unpack with what happened in that situation. And I definitely did say, hey, I'm done with World of Warcraft content, with the caveat that if, they overwhelmingly made it look like Shadowlands was going to be really good, I would eat my words and come back. And that's exactly what I've done. And as long as World of Warcraft is fun, I want to keep making content. But if it's not fun, I don't want to force myself to do that. And one of the big reasons that I keep pushing and keep making content is because I do know that it helps people out there, especially those who are looking for that beginner steps, introduction stuff, and aren't ready for that, Mythic Plus rating style content yet. And our final comment here today is from Luca. They say, hey man, I really like what you're doing with the channel. It's really interesting and in-depth explained. I have a question when it comes to picking up Covenant. It's easy when you pick skills for, let's say, tanking, but when it comes to like my druid, I like playing tank heal spec, and all the recommendations are totally different from each spec. How do you go around that? So the gist here is just like, how do you pick a Covenant when you like to play multiple aspects of your character, and the recommendations for the best Covenant are different. So if you're playing druid and it says, hey, for tank, you want to go Kyrian, and for healing, you want to go Night Fae. I don't know if that's the recommendation. I haven't really gotten into druid yet in this expansion. But how do you choose? And that really just comes down to how you want to approach the game. If you want to be min-max super hardcore, then I think what you need to do is pick which spec is more important to you. If that's the tanking spec or the healing spec, yeah, you might like both, but do you like one better than the other? And even if you're not sure, honestly, you just have to pick which one's going to be the priority and go with that recommended Covenant ability. On the other hand, if you're not worried about min-maxing like crazy, then you could just pick whichever, Covenant recommendation you like based on what's recommended for tanks or healers, and then add the other elements on top of it. If it says Venthyr for tank and Maldraxxus for healing, okay, well, either one of them might work. You like both of the specs, so which one looks cooler? Which one do you like to play better? Which one do you want to get involved with? Use those extra elements to help you choose which Covenant you want to pick. Or if you really don't care about min-maxing and you just want to pick what you think is fun, ignore the recommendations for the specs and just pick the Covenant and ability that you think looks the most fun or the most interesting to you. I think those are the ways that you can take it. So once again, either choose one of those specs as the priority and go with those recommendations, and just kind of settle into the fact that, if you chose to prioritize tank spec, your heal spec Covenant ability might not be the most optimal one according to the guides that are out there. Or, like I said, you could just take those recommendations in and choose from the two that are recommended from tank or healing, and add in the other factors, the looks, the Covenant, the mini games, all that kind of good stuff. Or at the end of the day, just pick the Covenant you think looks the coolest or has the coolest ability when it comes to playing your druid. All right, so moving on from the community portion of the updates, we are going to talk about channel news. So this week saw the first ever, the premiere episode of WoW Academy Live, where we talked about crafting a leveling build in World of Warcraft Shadowlands. Now, WoW Academy Live, if you didn't catch the show or you came in a little bit late, is the new format for my live streams, where we have a topic, an educational learning topic that we start every live stream out with, and we talk about that for a half to a third of the show, and then for the final half to 2/3 of the show, we actually go out and play the game, and I try my best to explain what I'm doing and why I'm making the decisions that I am. So WoW Academy Live is something I'm super excited about. These live stream episodes are going to be every Monday at 6 p.m. Central Time, so you can tune in Mondays for that. You can interact with the stream, you can ask questions, all that kind of good stuff. And if you can only catch the VOD, you can still leave those questions on the video as well. So that was the premiere episode of that. Coming up next week, we're going to have another episode of WoW Academy Live. We're going to have another weekly update video, and we're also going to have the first premiere or premium guide on the channel in 2021. And this guide is going to be a resource for what to do once you hit level 60 in Shadowlands. So that's going to be coming up next week. Hopefully it will help you to kind of organize and sort out and figure out everything that you should be doing on a weekly and daily basis once you hit the level cap. I know making the guide has helped me, and I hope that it will help you as well. So outside of that, we move on to some Tsetzuko news over on Pixel Pathfinder, my second channel focused on indie games. I've started a Let's Play for Monster Sanctuary, which is a pretty cool Pokemon Metroidvania monster taming platformer hybrid game that I actually really enjoy so far. So if you get a chance, be sure to check that out this week. Also, will already have had my final video for my top 21 most anticipated games of 2021 published on there as well. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this week. Don't forget to throw a like on this video if you enjoyed it and if you like this new update format. Once again, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button for more great World of Warcraft content and updates and guides here on the channel. Hope you guys are having a lot of fun with Shadowlands. I know I have been, and I'll see you on the next video.